Going anamorphic here feels like complete overkill, but oddly appropriate. So last week saw the release of the Blazar Cato 2x anamorphics, and with them came a whole lot of opinions and just a bit of controversy, both of which I'm going to touch upon in this video. So for this release, Blazar did what pretty much every single mid-level prosumer brand does, and that's send their lenses out pre-release to a select handful of creators to test out and eventually drop an embargo review. Release day rolls around and the lenses are universally praised by the reviewers. The comment section all seems pretty pleased with them, and the Anamorphic Facebook group absolutely hates them. So thus far, everything is perfectly normal. A few days go by and a video by Nick Salazar comes out where I'm not trying to put words in his mouth, but he essentially makes a video warning his viewers to be wary of the opinions that you see in embargo launch videos. So basically, the lenses dropped, all the reviewers seemed to love them, he thought they sucked and wanted his viewers to know that and to just be skeptical of product reviews in general, including his own, by the way. I mean, he was way more diplomatic than that. He wouldn't even call out the Catos by name, but everybody knows who and what he was talking about. So fast forward a couple of days and then a video by Anthony Rodriguez comes out that's pretty similar, although he is a bit more direct. He actually calls out the Catos by name and mentions a few of their flaws, like the swimming effect that occurs when you pan left and right, as well as the astigmatism at the top and bottom of the frame. More noteworthy to me is actually that he pointed out that he's had companies in the past call him out for criticizing their products in his reviews and actually telling him directly to take certain criticisms out of those reviews. I know it's easy for me to sit here and say this, but if you're going to make a video about corporate manipulation in gear reviews and you actually have evidence of it, barring some kind of an NDA, you should be name dropping those companies. That would be doing such a service to not only your viewers, but also the entirety of the whole accountability and objectivity conversation in the gear space as a whole. But I do recognize that it's really easy for me to sit here and say, hey Anthony, you should burn your bridges, when I'm an irrelevant nobody who has absolutely no bridges to burn himself. So once again, people are starting to question the ethics and the inherent biases within gear reviews on YouTube. I feel like this is the third iteration of this conversation within the last year. Like first it was with the announcement of the Blackmagic Pixis, then everything really popped off with the release of the Lumix S9, which if you know, you know. And now once again with the Blazar Catos. And I really don't care anymore. And for the record, I generally do agree with the crux of their videos, that being just because the reviewers all seem to like something doesn't mean that you have to. Trust your eyes, form your own opinions, etc., etc. But then they start to kind of lose me with the implication that the reviewers are being disingenuous, which then inevitably leads to a witch hunt. And it's super easy to point to someone like Cam Mackey. That's who they're talking about, by the way. I mean, I get that they have the whole plausible deniability thing because they didn't name any names, but being vague can only go so far when the product launch only has like 3 people reviewing it. But it is easy to look at someone like Cam and accuse him of being a shill because all of his product reviews are positive and he's selling the product hard. Seriously, when he likes a product, he comes across like a cinematic Billy Mays.
Hi, Billy Mays here with the next generation of laundry detergent. It'll change the way you do laundry forever.
But do I believe he's being disingenuous? Not at all, actually, and I have a little anecdote to help back that up. So about a year or so ago, there was a discussion on the Anamorphic Facebook page about the DZO Pavo anamorphics. Opinions were pretty split about the lenses. Cam was definitely pro Pavo, and I mentioned that I didn't like the look coming out of the lenses. I hate their stupid crescent moon bokeh and the insane amount of chromatic aberration. I still 100% feel this way, but if you do disagree, feel free to fight me, son. Also, for the record, when I said all of that, it wasn't even directed at Cam. It was just part of the broader conversation. But he took such offense to it. He started asking me if I had ever even used anamorphics before, and maybe I should just stick to spherical. You know, all the stuff that people say when whatever anamorphic lens they like is criticized in any way. Anyway, he ended up deleting his comment, so I don't have any proof of this, but the point being that he was not part of their marketing campaign whatsoever, and to this day, as far as I know, he has no affiliation with DZO, but he still felt compelled to vehemently defend the lenses. I guess the more cynical among you could say that he was grandstanding in the hopes that DZO would see his comments, but it's a bit too ridiculous and conspiratorial for me to entertain. I just genuinely believe that he loves the gear that he reviews. And as far as lenses go, one man's hideous and distracting flaws is another man's character. I mean, you can just look at a lens like the Helios 44-2, which is a lens that's beloved by the filmmaking community. Historically, it had always just been a Zeiss Biotar knockoff that is full of flaws and wasn't worth using. But now we all love it for those exact same flaws, and we excuse the bad optics as character. So I really don't see why all of a sudden it's unacceptable to do that when it comes to the Catos. There's so much weird gatekeeping when it comes to anamorphic lenses, and we're all guilty of it, including myself. But honestly, I'm just kind of tired of hearing about that's not anamorphic, or what do you mean you don't like blank? That's the whole point of anamorphic. Because the only actual point of anamorphic, by the way, was to widen the frame and trick audiences into going back into the theaters. That's it. It was just a marketing gimmick, like 3D. Everything else was just a side effect. The flares, the distortion, the CA, the astigmatism, the mumps, these are all defects that the artist had to work around because of a format that was being pushed by the studios. So you can like clean anamorphics like the RE Masters, or dirty anamorphics like the Lomo square fronts, or even the Blazar Catos, or anything in between, or none of them. You can hate anamorphics and view them as an overrated, gimmicky relic of the past. It's all good, man. We're allowed to have our opinions, and you're entitled to yours. There are so many options out there now that it's getting easier and easier to choose which characteristics we want in a lens, and then choose a lens set based off of those characteristics. So, what do I think about the Blazar Catos? I don't like them. I mean, they're fine. They just have too many flaws, in my opinion, for me to be willing to step away from my adapter setups. And even though the price is legitimately groundbreaking, they are still like $1,200, $1,300 a lens, and I'm a broke bitch. And plus, with how ubiquitous the Blazar lenses have become on YouTube, I enjoy feeling like a special, unique snowflake with my weirdo abomination of a setup. I mean, just look at these flares. So organic, so blue. I bet Cam's probably salty that Blazar didn't go with blue flares for these Catos, which I agree. I don't know why they didn't either. Oh, also, if you prefer neutral flares over blue, feel free to fight me as well. So in summation, are there people out there shilling for corporations? I mean, statistically, probably. But I mean, in every review that I've seen accused of being a shill, they're still pointing out the flaws in the products. And honestly, as long as the reviewers aren't directly lying to the viewers, then I don't really care. Just give us the facts and we can form our own opinions. Because let's just look at absolute worst case scenario. Like someone is completely shilling a product that they don't believe in, someone gets duped into buying it, they end up regretting their purchase, and then a few months or weeks later, they end up having to sell it at a loss, which is something that's happened to every single one of us. I mean, it's a bit of an inconvenience, but it's not really the end of the world. And that's worst case scenario. That's the worst thing that can happen. So yeah, I guess my message here is find a creator that either inspires you or resonates with you, or that you just trust their reviews, trust your eyes, and form your own opinions, which I'm not the only one saying that. Literally all three of the people I talked about in this video had that exact same message in theirs.
Be very opinionated about the footage that's being posted.
Don't be afraid to have your own opinion, even if that opinion isn't represented in the reviews that you watch.
You guys need to like really learn how to be confident in your own opinion. Stop just listening to people and repeating what they're saying.
Well, I was going to try to end this positively and to try to get everyone to sing Kumbaya, but apparently Cam and Nick are going at it in the comment section on Nick's video. Anyway, who do you have winning a fight between Cam Mackey and Nick Salazar? Feel free to let me know in the comment section down below. I feel like conventional wisdom would say put your money on Cam, but I see you, Nick, trying to hide them biceps, out here looking like Terry Warfield. I see you, Nick. Oh, also hit the like button and the subscribe button and all the buttons that reflect positively on me as a person. I'd appreciate it. All right, I'll see you guys next time with more of my regularly scheduled nonsense. Okay, bye.
Farewell, friends.